They say you don't become a witch. That it's just one day you wake up and realize that's what you've always been. The one that doesn't always fit in. The one that likes the woods, the sun and sky, cats, owls, and the moon. The one who stays up late reading books, playing role-playing games, and learning the names of the stars. The one that likes to wear black eyeliner, capes. And then you realize, oh, that's what I am. I'm a witch.
Hey!
There we are, yay! How are you doing, my lady Lola?
I'm great. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Hey, everybody, I'm so glad to see you. It's been, I don't know, it seems like 3 weeks. We had a lot of things happening.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then last week was, my city was on fire, so everyone was sick.
Your city was on fire, and I was on the road, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And then the week before that, I was at Parliament of World Religions. Yeah. And then the week before that, I think there was something else.
There was something else. Well, we're here.
I'm glad we're back. Yay, we made it. You know what, though? See, this is about the queen, because the queen likes to make an entrance. She wants you to wait for her. She's like, oh,
the build-up.
I'm not just walking in the room any old time. I'm not in line.
The build-up. She likes the build-up.
She really does. So when I studied the queen, I was writing the sophomore class at Wilsonstein Theological Seminary. And I was like, okay, who wants to talk to me about Zeus? And I was sitting at my computer and I had on my Navy sweats, like my, that I worked out in the Navy boot camp sweats. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have on any makeup and I had my hair a bit of pebbles. And she said, you're going to have to get dressed if you're going to talk to me. And I went, okay. And so I went and put on nicer clothes. And she went, no, hose, heels, makeup, hair, all of it. I was like, oh. And so then I sat down and the queen instructed me in protocol and social customs and mannerisms and shaping society. And it was amazing.
Yeah, it's the queen demands she demands respect and honor and beauty and all those things. That's very Hera. It's very Hera. I think our producer's saying she doesn't see my card. We're having some technical difficulties. I thought I was showing it there on the bottom.
You had the card on the bottom there.
Yeah. Oh, now we disappeared.
We disappeared. Nope, we're still here.
This is what happens when you go live.
Well, okay, so let's talk about the fact that it's Mercury retrograde, you guys. This is the world that we're living in. Expect and enjoy technical difficulties for the next 3 weeks as we're going backwards in the sky because we're cavemen and that scares us and we run and hide. And then the following 3 weeks, Mercury will be going in its shadow, which means it's going back towards the place where it was before it started going backwards. It's like, when you forget your wallet back at home and you have to go all the way back home, you're not starting back on your journey from where you turned around. You're starting back at home. So you've got to go back and forward, right? That's called Mercury in its shadow. So for 6 weeks, we have a little technological and communication hiccups. Yeah. It's wise to ask Hermes to bring back things that were lost. Today alone, I found this wonderful jewelry case that has been lost for a very long time. It was sitting right here by me where I know that I've looked 1,000 times and it couldn't possibly have been there, but now lo and behold, there it is, covered in dust.
Oh yeah. Well, we had Hermes. A couple of my Coven sisters lost both their cats yesterday. They escaped through the window, and we prayed to Hermes, and both cats came home. They have been.
I know. Yay. You know, my honey bear is so old. I know your baby is very old too.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more time I'm going to get with her. I pray Hermes gives me one more day every day. So, but yeah, Hermes also, Mercury retrograde's a death window. People often pass during this 6 weeks.
Oh,
Like if they're close, yeah, there's a lot of, you'll find, you know, when you'll go, wow, man, a lot of people are passing away right now. It's usually during a Mercury retrograde.
oh, crazy puppy. See,
Yeah.
my dog had to say something about that.
Yeah, well, we don't care about his political opinions. He and Honey Bear can fight all night.
Well, let's talk about the Queen. I know that we can't see. I don't think the image is up. We might be having some technical difficulties, but we can still talk about the Queen.
Okay, yes, let's talk about.
Because a lot of people aren't familiar with this fourth face of the goddess. Because we talked about Maiden last time, right?
100% true.
And then Mother. We talked about. We talked about Maiden and Mother already.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have an interesting thing about the Lord and Lady is that it's the Maid Mother Crone and the Oak King Holly King, but that's not really how that's book stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's book Wicca. The moon has 4 faces. The sun has 3 faces. 3 and that's where you get 7 days a week, right? So the 4th face of the goddess is the Queen. And we have various theories of how the Queen managed to make it out of and the Priest King with the Oak King, Holly King, Priest King. There we've got the card. That's my Isadora. There she.
That's weird. I can't see it now.
Well, I can't see it, but I see that she's got it, so it'll come on up, I'm sure.
Okay.
But the Queen is all about coaching you. When you invoke the Queen, she's like, let me teach you the way. She's not like Athena. Athena comes in, says, okay, battle's on. What do we do? And okay, we're done here. I'm out. Right? Mm-hmm. Persephone's like, psh, psh, psh. You can barely hear her. Like, hang on, is there somebody talking in the room? Whereas the Queen is like, you're going to have to change the buttons on that dress if you're going to go out in that during this season, because that's for the other season. And you're going to have to wear these kinds of shoes. And this is what, and it's all about civilization and manners and social contracts. She's the goddess of marriage because she's the goddess of social contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Isadora is trying really hard to get that up.
I know. I'm not sure maybe the Queen just wants us to envision her the way we see her in our head. I don't know.
Yeah. You guys, if you want to comment, we are happy to answer questions if you have any. A lot of people tell me that the Queen is something that they've never considered, but the reason it comes up is they go, you know, Bella, I don't know where I fit in that Maid Mother Crone thing. I'm not a maiden. I'm not a mother. I'm not a crone, or I'm well past motherhood. I don't look like a crone. Like, I am not raising babies anymore.
Yeah.
You're not raising babies anymore. Yeah, I have children, but they're grown children, right? But I am not a crone. Do I look like a crone to you?
No, not at all. And that's where I'm at too. I'm like,
this is the phase of the Queen. It is the women that are shaping society. It's the matriarchs of the family. It's the ones that are leading the way. They're not old and sit there, Granny, and tell us your wisdom while you knit. They are out there shaping society. They're your professionals, your politicians, your business owners. They are shaping life. And that is the time of the Queen.
And they're also in a phase in life where there's this confidence. They've really grown into who they are. And it doesn't have to be chronologically either, because you can access this energy, like I've said with Maiden and Mother and Crone energy. It doesn't matter chronologically what age you are. You can access Queen energy, whether you're male, female, or whatever. It's
sure.
To get that confidence and that what do you call it? Sovereignty.
Gender roles are a social construct.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
which, we have to, I am the protector provider. Well, I'm the provider, probably not the protector, but sometimes I am. Whereas, Dusty takes the kids to school, and when it was that time, he cooks, he does the laundry. I'm not doing the laundry. I'm working, right? So it's, gender is a construct. And I feel like sometimes we have the queen thing taken away from us because we were in that age of victimhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now we are embracing our power as women, and being queens is like we were talking about before we got on here. I was like, I'm going to get on there and say hi, Barbie, because I just watched that Barbie movie, and it's all about women empowerment. And
yes,
and I didn't really take it seriously. It's really difficult sometimes to take those kinds of things seriously, but that's part of the reverse misogyny. And I think that the gender thing is we put ourselves in these boxes, and we have to really break ourselves out of these boxes, whether we are whatever personal choice of we have in our lives.
Yeah.
You are all of these things at any given time. You are the one that has the wisdom. You are the one that is bright, fresh with new ideas. You are the one that is the nurturer. You are the one that is the leader. You are the one that is the fertilizer. You are the one that is the sage. You are the one that is the protector provider at some point in your life. So it's all about understanding all of these roles in order to master them all, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, there's such a wonderful confidence that I love when I found out that I was in the queen phase, because it just made sense to me, the confidence that I have, and kind of you really don't worry about what other people think about you, because you're doing the work out there. The proof is in the pudding. You are out there leading. You are out there showing your community that you're a strong person, and you've earned the right to kind of say, hey, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Because we always are so afraid that we're going to sound egotistical if we actually say we're good at something or we know something backwards and forwards. Queen phase is about, oh no, I've earned the right to say I know what I'm talking about. And here's why. Boom, boom, boom. And there's the proof. Yeah. And I love that. I got goosebumps.
I worked hard and I deserve this.
Yes, absolutely.
I have. Well, so one of the things about the Queen and Hesja's muse, which is our beautiful Liliana Black Starr, who is such a brilliant astrologer. If you need any astrology, Hesja's muse is the place to go. I read about Queen as an addition to the triple goddess model a few years ago, and I've always loved it. I loved it too. So when I was writing my books, I was like, there's something missing here, you guys. There are 4 phases of the moon. And I'm the puzzle putter together. I'll stay up all night and put a 1,000-piece puzzle together. It's just my thing. Yeah. And I started looking and I came up with the wheel. I'm sure there's someone close around here that I can hold up. Dusty will hand it to me in just a second. There it is. See, it is. I pray to Dusty. When I pray to Dusty, it always works.
Just say Dusty. Well, I'm going to say that over here too in Spokane, even though he's not here. I'll go Dusty.
Dusty, where's my wheel? But I started doing the wheel, and it really is the path all laid out, and it shows you where the holes are. And it helped me understand that you've got Aphrodite the maiden, Demeter the mother, Hecate the crone. Where's Persephone? Persephone? Well, that she's the disempowered queen. That's what has happened to the queen phase, is that it got disempowered. Hera got disempowered. Persephone got disempowered. And Persephone is the daughter of Demeter. But is she, because we're talking about immortal beings, okay? Yeah. So is she the daughter of Demeter, or does she come after Demeter? Because what happens is that you're in the mother phase, and then your kid grows up and goes away, and you've got this empty nest syndrome, and you have to find yourself. You have to figure out who you are. And women go through this transformation between 38 and 45.
Yeah, yeah.
and they really come into their power during that time. But man, it's not without some bumps and bruises. If anybody that's between the age of 38 and 45 know that I too sat on the edge of my bed and cried every day. It's a rough time, but it's also very transformative. And often you have a lot of really great things going on while you're having to let go of some things that you feel like you're not supposed to and you shouldn't, and it's all complicated and you don't know the right thing to do. And it's a time of crunch and transformation. It's moving into the queen. You have to take over your life.
Well, and I've heard that some people think that maiden is spring, mother is summer, and queen is autumn. Would you agree with that?
Queen is autumn. Yes.
Yeah.
Fall.
And then crone is winter.
Crone is winter. Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of how I've also learned.
Well, I mean, I feel like I'm in the autumn of my life, right?
Yeah.
Which is a very exciting time of the year. So I'm super happy about it.
It has a lot to do with, I want to say introspection, but not really. I feel like winter's kind of that time because you get very quiet and still.
Yeah, winter is introspection. Fall is harvest.
Yeah.
Seasonal parties and having a good time. And the queen time of your year is that time where you're not spending all your money on raising kids anymore. You've got all of your income for yourself again. So you have more expendable income, and you can take belly dance classes now, and you can go on a cruise, and you can go to Greece because you couldn't do it when you were raising kids, but now you have the money to do it, and you can afford to buy the nice shoes.
We still have a 15-year-old at home, but he's pretty self-sufficient. So we don't need a babysitter anymore. We can actually go out and do fun things. And so there's this independence. There's this time, like, I've worked very hard being a mom. I've worked very hard providing for the family. And like I said, we've earned the right to be a queen. I love saying that. I've earned the right to be a queen.
I have sacrificed. I have dutifully. I did not go out and party. My husband was not allowed to go out and party on weeknights. We stayed at home. We took care of our kids. We did the right thing for 20 some odd years. When you get a chance to be, okay, I'm done, it's really freeing and empowering. And you have to, but the process of stepping into that new life is sometimes you look at your partner and you're like, this don't fit anymore. You know?
Oh yeah.
Or your career or relationships with friends, all kinds of different things. You're like, man, I finished that now. I'm done with that. And you have to let it go, and it's complicated, and you're really vested. So
any kind of transition into any phase in our life is going to be difficult. It's evolution hurts. Transformation hurts.
But and Persephone and Hera are both goddesses of transformation. So it hurts. You were saying something.
It's painful. It's like the butterfly, the caterpillar shedding out of the cocoon, or when you shed skin, like a snake shedding skin, it hurts. And it's like all those things, you become something new, and it's painful, and that pain comes along with it. But
snake. Snake. The transformation, though, it's worth it. You really die to one life and you come into another. It's just like maiden. You die from maiden, you come into mother. When you are a mother, you do not get to do the same things that you did when you were a maiden. You don't get to dance all night in the clubs when you're a mom. Maybe every once in a great while, but not every damn Friday night, Saturday night. Well, Thursday night. Can we get by with Thursday night? Maybe Sunday night. Ain't nobody there on Sunday night, but they're still playing the music. You know how it was, right?
Yeah. Sunday night, the dance, the club was kind of all yours because not a lot of people showed up, so you kind of got the dance club to yourself.
Do whatever you want to.
I like that we're so spiritual, and let's talk about dance clubs. That just makes sense to me.
No, but when you're going from mother to queen, it's the same thing. You feel all these obligations and duties. Oh, I got to make Thanksgiving dinner for everybody. Oh, I've got to have everybody over to my house for Christmas. Oh, I've got to do all of these things. Oh, I've got to make these cupcakes for the PTA. No, I don't have a PTA anymore.
Yeah.
Things change. And then you're like, I don't have a PTA anymore. My babies are all grown up and down.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Well, and doesn't Demeter becomes from mother to queen because she has to figure out what to do with that empty nest syndrome, and then she kind of comes into her own, and I kind of see that as when she blossoms and realizes that she's can do
queen of earth.
Yeah.
She's queen of earth, and that we're all her children. Yes, it is not as clearly as defined as the queen of heaven and the queen of hell. But yes, Demeter does come into her queendom. But look at the misogyny, you guys. Like, look at the fact that we're like, Mother Nature. You know, like, you know, I think about saving the earth, and I'm like, man, everybody's got to be all about saving the earth, but not everybody is. We take it for granted. We take mom for granted. We take the queen for granted. We take woman power for granted. And when we see women taking their power, we're like, so we have to be in a queen is all about finding out that you're not competing. You're sisters. You're empowering each other. You're not competing. When you're maidens, you're like, it's so competitive, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's in the same hunt.
But, well, and even mother, you're kind of competitive because
now you're competing with children.
Yeah, you're comparing like how you raised your kids with there's always those mothers that are like, oh, I never did that with my children, or oh, they're not walking yet, or whatever it is. And we're always constantly feeling bad about ourselves as mothers too.
And as the queen, we have decided we're just not dealing with that reality anymore. The heck with it. This is me. I've heard you say it. This is me. This is just it. This is it. And I'm freaking fabulous. And I'm going to be my fabulous, fabulous self. And I'm not going to let anything hold me back. And I'm like, yes, Lola, that's where we're at.
Yes.
Me too. Me too. It feels good. Feels good.
Oh, I like Alana Hamilton said another role that comes up for Queen is as the great mediator. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, Queen is the one that solves the problems. She's the professional woman. It's almost like Athena, right? It's all that part of the wheel right there. We've got Hestia and Athena and Persephone, and they don't need a man, right? Yeah. And then Hera. That's where that's the four right there on that part of the wheel, the four queens.
What are some other queens that you would think of in other goddesses that would fall in that queen category? Would you think Freya or Frigg?
Frigg.
Yeah. What about Isis?
Oh, Isis? Well, Isis is the queen. Yes.
Yeah.
Hecate is the queen that sits on all thrones.
Yep.
I'm
trying to think. It was Hecate, Ishtar, or Inanna.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely. Inanna is the queen of heaven. Ishtar, same. Ereshkigal is the queen of heaven.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime you've got those dichotomy things.
Yeah. So there's a lot of wonderful queen deities to tap into, to work with because I know women who are in their queen phase and they just don't have the confidence yet. And so I like to try to think of some good deities or goddesses to work with to tap into that queen power.
It's really difficult, but you just got to shed the guilt, right? You just have to let the guilt go. It is not your responsibility to live for anybody else. And that is really difficult to let go of when you're a mom, because it's been your job to keep that spirit in that body for all these years. Yeah. And to think that they're just going to do that for themselves. I mean, you watch them stick their finger in a light socket. God knows what they're going to do out there with knives and cars and stuff.
And and the mother, you're a mother forever. Once you have, and we talked about this in the mother phase. You don't have to be a what's the word, biological mother. You can have mother instincts with people in your life that maybe aren't your biological children, but you're responsible for them. And that responsibility, yes, it goes away like when they move or they but you never really, that's the hard part, is the mother into the queen. There's that guilt that's still so fresh, because even with my kids being out on their own, I'm like, oh God, I hope I did the right thing. I hope that they're independent enough. And so that's really hard to do, is to let go of that mother guilt to become into the queen phase.
Well, I find my mothering has changed. My mothering has gone from feeding you, making sure you're hydrated, making sure you do your homework, making sure you're clothed and fed right, to making sure you're not taking out too many credit cards, making sure you have a dependable vehicle, co-signing loans, helping bail you out when you make a really bad decision, like getting 2 pit bulls. And then, well, what are you going to do with your life? Right. Yeah. Which I'm doing. I'm taking my 2 pit bulls grandchildren from my son, because he was in a stable relationship and they got 2 pit bulls, and now he's not in a stable relationship. And for a year, he's been trying to rehome them, and it's been a mess. So this is the kind of thing that I step in and do now. Yes. Yeah. I'll home for your pit bulls so that you
have the ability to do that too. Yeah. Like, yeah, you have that ability and the resources to do that.
Yeah. And he's in a crisis. So when my children are in crisis, you need somebody in your corner. And so I am that person. I've always been that person for my kids. I'm like, I'm here when you're in trouble. You need me. Do not pretend like you don't need me, and that I'm not going to get you out of trouble, because I don't believe in punishing on top of consequences. Natural consequences are bad enough. I'm here to help, right?
Right, so yeah.
My mother is, when you're a queen, it's more about coaching them into good adulthood, and that's what I find she does. Yeah. Like when she's talking to you, she's coaching you into good adulthood. Yeah, and I really love that. I tried to bring the card up to Lola, and I don't know why we can't get it up. But I think queen card is really beautiful. And from here, as small as it is, let me do this part. It looks like a little bit like Sailor Moon. It's a very cute.
Doesn't it? I know everyone says that it's a little Sailor Moony, but there is, because I'm very familiar with this card. It's very, she's got the crown, and the crown is actually like a fist, like power. So it's very independence. It's the power. There's some autumn stuff around it because it's that autumn phase. And she's just standing very confident in her realm and just looking straight ahead. And it's a very, very pretty card. If anyone wants to see it, you can contact me, and I can hook you up with what we're doing with these cards. So,
well, if I got a card as a queen, if I got a queen card, I would think that I was in the position to rule or in power to make decisions in a certain situation.
And for me, if I got a queen card, just, not like tarot, like you could get Queen of Pentacles or Queen of what, but just like an oracle card, just a queen card. For me, it would mean to sit on my throne and enjoy what I've done with my life, rather than always being like, oh, is this okay? Just do the thing. I've earned the right to be this queen. I sit on my throne and I look at what I've created, and I'm proud of it, and I'm confident in what I've done. And that's for me, that's a big thing.
That's a big thing. Yeah. That is a big thing. Well, I'm quite confident about something, and I can't wait to show it to you. I told you I had something really cool I want to show you. Yeah. So we have made these really neat stone cards. They're white. They've got chakra symbols on one side because they go with the chakra classes, but they're crystal cards. Look.
Ooh. Oh, wow. Those are cool.
So they're really neat because they've got the crystal at the top and they've got facts about it, and they're in all kinds of different colors. There's 43 cards in the most commonly used stones today, like amethyst and quartz and citrine and those kinds of things. And they're $13 for 43 cards in WiccanCauldron.com.
Well, speaking of, before we hop on to the next topic, speaking of the school and the wheel and the Wiccan seminary, I found this beautiful thing that someone, I think it was Shenandoah Fenwich, remember?
Shandara Fenwich wrote this. It's the charge of the Queen of Heaven. I can't wait to hear it.
All right, so this is the charge of the Queens of Heaven. Behold me, children. I am Hera, Juno, Frigga, Isis, Eriu, Lakshmi, Ishtar, the all-powerful and radiant Queen of Heaven. I sit upon majestic mountaintops within celestial palaces, and my gaze sees all, the whole of your life and your world. I am the holy embodiment of your highest divine self. Take heed of my lessons, for they are yours as well. Hold thyself proudly and learn the lessons of queenship and duty, of riches beyond count and sacrifice without measure. I come to you as the triple goddess, maiden, mother, and crone. I watch over every step of your mortal life, from cradle to grave. I come to you as goddess of sovereignty, queen of the land and myself, doling out justice and mercy in each proper measure where I see fit. My lessons may appear cruel to the casual observer. Delve deeper, child, and learn how greatness is only ever truly born of extreme struggle and hardship. See me for who I am, Gaia, Rhea, Ops, Breed, the unconquerable queens of old who live yet today. I have given of myself as queen, and yet I still retain a piece of that former glory, for now I hold another sacred duty. I am the mother of all, nourishing, protecting, and teaching my children as only a mother can. I give of myself freely and unconditionally for the sake of the next generation. I counsel my successor in her role as queen with ancient wisdom born of pain and struggle and of time itself. I watch from behind the curtain and yet am ever present. I am the bridge between past and present, ever mindful of the future yet to come. Look at me, for I am the woman alone, Hera, Inanna, Persephone, Astarte, Hecate. Mine are the lessons of death and rebirth, of renewal and change that only I can bring about through my own active will. I wander dark places where none dare to tread, seeking answers to questions not yet known, and I emerge with greater understanding, an evolution of the soul eternal. I am she who will not be tamed. Like the cat, I come when I want and strut with full confidence of that which I am and will be. I belong only to myself. Such are the gifts I give to thee. Isn't that great? I love that.
So amazing. I muted myself because I didn't want any feedback or anything to interfere. That was beautiful, Lola.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful wealth of knowledge that we have gleaned from over a decade of WiccanSeminary.edu students giving us these fantastic chunks of channeled information, right?
I know, and you know, I grabbed this from when I was when we were on Second Life, and I remember there was a book of shadows, a virtual book of shadows that we could go in and look at the different classmates, what they've done, their rituals, and I remember there was charges, and that was in there, and I thought, wow, this is really cool, and so we use that a lot, and I just think it encapsulates the queen energy.
I thought it did too. I've got something really exciting to tell you about those books of shadows from Second Life.
Yeah.
So we have sold Sacred Cauldron, but we took the books of shadows because we have over a decade of student rituals and all of that.
Yeah.
And so Wicca Press is going to publish them.
Oh, cool. Oh, that is so nice.
Yeah, we'll have all those rituals entombed for people to take and redo. I mean, so many great rituals the students have written.
Oh, I still refer to a lot of those rituals for our workings in our coven because there's amazing stuff in there. And I think I'm really glad to hear that. I think that's amazing.
It's exciting. Yeah, I'm really excited about it too. Awesome.
Okay. Shall we go on to the crone?
Yeah, I could talk about the queen and her coaching abilities forever, but we do have the crone to talk about.
Yes. And look it, the crone came up.
Yay, hallelujah. The queen likes to make an entrance. Obviously, she wasn't ready. We must have not been dressed up enough. I have on blue jeans. It's my fault.
I've got a black t-shirt dress on. I don't know. Maybe she's just like, next time you do this, make sure you're like dressed to the nines.
I would not doubt it. I would not doubt it. She would be like, you have not got dressed up enough for me to come to your stuff. The crone, grandmother who has the time to sit and talk and listen and craft and share and teach us all of the awesome things. Oh my goodness, the crone.
The crone is, when I think of the crone, I think of the grandmothers in the menstrual tents, you know, where the Native Americans would have their moon tents and whatnot. And those were the ones that would teach the mothers how to be mothers and the daughters how to be daughters and talk about, you know, and they were the ones that were weaving and making things. And that's what I think of as just generations, that they're looking over generations of their family, and not even their family, just people that need that knowledge. And I love crone energy. I think Wicca, we are one of the few religions, I think, that really honors our crones, our elders, because they are the ones that are going to help us and kind of teach us.
So I like to refer to it as granny energy. Yeah, I really do. I like to be like, okay, crone equals granny, because I had a mother Jenny and a mother Faye, which I think is kind of funny because Faye and Jenny. But whenever I would call a mother Jenny the Faye, unless I wanted something, and I came up to me and I would go, Granny, and they would go, what do you want? And I would say, how do you know I want something? And they would say, because the only time you call me Granny is when you want something.
Oh, yeah.
So I always think of the crone as the granny, because they're there to provide for you and teach you all the things. Like my mother was working, cleaning house. She was not the person who really taught me things or spent a whole lot of time just hanging out, right?
Yeah.
Like your grandmother is the one that takes you on vacation and you go spend the night and hang out, and she makes popcorn and watches Disney shows with you.
Oh, yeah.
Where mom doesn't really do that. So
I was not lucky enough to know my grandmas very long. My grandmother on my dad's side died when I was 8. And then my grandmother on my mother's side, I only met maybe 3 times in my whole life before she died. She lived in New Mexico. So I long for that. And it's very important that my kids, I bring my kids around my parents. My mom is their Nana, and they know they can go to Nana's, and she's always got the butterscotch candies or the mint candies in the candy bowl. And that, I call it the old people candy, but
the old people candy. The old people do it. I don't know what that's all about. I like chocolate, but
yeah,
they have a lot more patience.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're a kid and you've got all that energy, the older people really enjoy that energy. It still gives me anxiety. I'm like, settle down.
Yeah.
Right. But the older people are like, no, come over here and give it to me, because there's a different energy. I really feel like one of the things our society misses is that extended family. I think the nuclear family is really not very natural, because the old people and the young people want to hang out together, and we take the old people and we put them someplace else and they're lonely. And then the young people don't have the wisdom keepers to walk around with and take them fishing and stuff like that. So really feel like that's something that needs to be brought back into our modern day cultures.
Yeah.
Stay in, building a bigger house, instead of moving away.
there's such beauty also in, and I love that we talk about this as witches. There's such beauty in aging. You know, we talked about earning your right to be queen. You've earned the right. Every wrinkle on your face that you get, every scar, it tells a story. Those wise eyes with the crow's feet that are, I mean, my mom is a crone. My mom is definitely a crone. And, you know, it's so cool to see my nieces and nephews and my kids look to her, you know, and she does have the stories, and she keeps the past alive, and she's got lessons to teach, even if she's not consciously thinking, oh, this is a lesson. It's just a natural state of storytelling. I like how you say wisdom keepers, the storyteller. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the stories I've collected over the time. You know, like I've got stories for so many things, and it's easier to learn when you have a story attached to it, because it engages both sides of your brain. You've got a story that you can relate to. You've got facts that you can relate to. Both sides of your brain go, oh, I get it. And then it's easier for you to implement into your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you have the wisdom, you have also the nurturing. There's still the nurturing. There's the calmness. There's the stillness, and things slow down more.
Patience.
And the patience, and you're not in a rush anymore. One, because you've learned that rushing around is just not going to get you anywhere. Really, it just doesn't, because you're going to miss things. And two, you know, physically, when you're at that age, you really can't rush around, but it's okay. It's okay to just be still in the silence. That's why you associate it with winter, because winter is so silent and so still. And people say, oh, winter, it's so depressing. It's death. But death is not depressing. Death is just, it's silence, and it's sleep, it's rest, and it's slumber. And it's a beautiful thing. And that's what I get from crone energy.
You get to layer up in all those layers and be snuggly. You got to find beauty in everything, right?
Yeah.
Like one of the things that you learn so much wisdom that you run out of feelings. I'm like, you get, when you're a baby, you've got all these feelings in this little bitty package, but you don't have any wisdom. And as you get older, you fill up with wisdom, and so you don't have as much room for feelings, right? You got no wisdom, and then you get older, you get wisdom. You don't have all that room for feelings. I think that's why they're more patient.
Yeah.
They can look at you and go, you're all a tizzy over something that doesn't matter anyway. And you're, what do you mean it doesn't matter? Of course it matters. Right?
At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. But we don't know that when we are not in that phase. We really think it's the end all be all everything. And that's why we need our crone energy to remind us that this too shall pass. And you're going to look back on this and go, I can't believe I got all in a tizzy over that.
I actually had a crone reach over to me when I was a maiden. She was my grandma Vestal. The Vestals were my adopted family, not really adopted. They were real family, but they adopted me from my Georgia family, took me to Mississippi, and I got cotillion training and all that kind of stuff. Miss Vestal was pretty awesome. She leaned over. I was an executive secretary in her office. She ran Mutual of Omaha, of Mississippi. She grabbed me on the arm, and I looked at her, and she said, darling, this too will pass. And one day you'll realize that everything passes, and you should just enjoy the ride and not get upset. And she left. I was like, and she stopped me and looked me dead in the eye and smiled. And I was like, one day I will be able to not go boom. But it's not today, because I'm a Leo at 20.
I'm a Leo at 20. Good Lord. I can only imagine. But see, my mom's a Leo now at 83. So my mom was a Leo at 21. Said, boy, she tells me all the stories. Oh, my mother's like, I was the best looking out of all our friends, and I was the best dancer, and I just, and it's just, I'm like, yeah, I know, Mom, but I love her stories, and we love to sit around and listen to her stories. And she's the grandma. She's my mom, but she's also the grandma I never had too.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Yeah. It's really nice to have that grandmother, grandfather energy in your life. I was thinking today, there's a gentleman who comes over, and I know him from a past life. He was my father on a Mongolian steppe way back, right? Like he would plow with an ox, and I would,
wow.
and I remember, yeah, it was just me and him. It was a very flat place, lots of rocks, and he commented on one of my posts, and I almost wrote, "Thanks, Dad," because my dad's gone and Pete's gone.
Yeah.
And you know, you just want that father figure, grandmother, grandfather, you know, that elder sage looking over you, even though that person, well, no, he does. He brings me comfort, right?
Yeah.
He makes
Yeah.
me feel safe in some ways. And I love him for that. And you want somebody like that in your life, even if they're not blood related, somebody that isn't your partner, that makes you feel that they can well-being, your long-term, you know, they take the time to listen.
Yep.
Yeah.
So which deities would you or goddesses would you associate with crone energy?
Well, that would be Hecate, Caridwen, the old, the ones that are exhibiting age, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga, definitely.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of an older Egyptian deity. I'm like, no, this isn't really old. She's just ancient. A lot of the deities aren't really old. They're just ancient.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's the grandmother winter energy that you're looking for. It's the dark of night, the cold stillness, the introspection, the unknown.
Yeah. I love this energy because it also makes me not afraid of growing older. I mean, we're already at an age, you know, we're not, you know, old and decrepit, and not that anyone is old and decrepit. I don't want to insult anyone, but we're, you know, in our 50s, we're good, right? But we're getting closer, you know, it's closer in our in our vision, and but crone energy makes me, I kind of look forward to being that crone. I kind of look forward to, because I have visions of myself with not necessarily grandchildren, but just people in the community that are younger and just telling the stories. It's never connected that they're actually my blood grandchildren, because I have a feeling I may not have grandchildren the way my boys are, which, you know, that's fine. I'm not one of those women that's like, I want a grandchild, but it may not be in the stars, but that's okay, because I can still have grandchildren in my spiritual practice, and I kind of look forward to that. I see myself doing that very well.
I am so excited because my daughter was like, I don't want to have kids. And my son Ta wants to have kids, but I mean, it's not happening anytime soon. And then Ramsey hasn't returned to life from COVID yet. Like he's still, you know, Ramsey is in the cave. So Lucy called me the other day and she said, Mom, I met a guy. He's got a really cute kid. And she sent me a picture of the kid and she says, I kind of want to have a baby with this guy, Mom, and he kind of wants to have a baby with me. And he's a good dad and he's a good provider. And I think it's a good idea. And I'm like, oh God, don't be too excited, Bella. Don't be too excited. Don't put pressure on it.
I know. We don't want to put pressure on him.
The other day, I said, what are you doing? And she sent me a picture. She's laying there with that baby. And I'm like, oh, she's feeling it. She's going to have a grandkid. I'm so excited. I'm going to spoil it rotten.
Of course you are. Yes, absolutely. But, you know, I think it's also important to also add that, you know, it's this is also the time in the women's life that's associated with menopause. So like when
Oh
everything,
no, I think the queen. I think
Oh,
the queen is associated with menopause because it's literally men on pause, and Persephone is the queen of the change. I mean, goddess of change.
oh yeah,
The
I guess it would be.
menopause is the change.
So you
Yeah.
would, so well, okay, I think because there's perimenopause and then there's menopause. So
I
perimenopause,
think of Crone as postmenopause. I think of
postmenopause.
I think of the queen phase as when you're going through menopause and you're like, oh my God, I'm having a hot flash. Here's one of my 17 fans. Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's me.
You know,
Yeah, you're right. You're
and
right.
we're saying it's not a hot flash, it's a power surge. But really, yeah, like I see I mean, you know, it's whatever's true in the heart of the worshiper.
Yeah.
But I mean, Persephone is red and white. Fall is the time of the water, which is our blood.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
it's Persephone's the goddess of change. It's men on pause. It's menopause. That's how kind of the queen phase is you often get divorced.
Yeah.
During, you know, a lot of women, I got divorced.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of my queen phase. I was like, done with this, on to the next, right? Got around somebody that has fun, that I actually trust to tell me the truth when they open up, right? Like that's where you're at. So
my husband's sitting right here. He might be scaring him a little. It's like, I hope she's not in that stage.
I don't think y'all have the same kind of relationship, though. You guys have got a different, you know, not every relationship ends. Only like 95% of it.
Yeah. But no, you're right.
Yeah.
The crone is very, you're right. It's postmenopausal. It's done. It's kind of far removed. Don't have to worry about it. Hot flashes no more. Very much just enjoying the still life, the calm life.
Well, usually you're retired, right? Like I think of the crone as over 65, retired, taking the slow life. Somebody else is taking care of them. They've got, you know, a lot of focus on health and crafting and spirit, right? Like you're in your spirit phase. A lot of the crones are very focused on deity. Same with Holly Kings, because your crown chakra is so far open. There's a lot of getting close to the other side of the veil. And so that's why you identify more with, you want to hang out with the grandchildren because you're gonna miss life, right? So you just instinctually you want to be around it, and you want to share what you know, because you've got, like, there's no way that I could take all the information that I've gleaned in my life and put it into another human being, although I have done my very living best. Yes. Right. And I think when you're getting that, sometimes you're smelling the barn. That's what you just want to teach people, all of the things that you know.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? You're like, oh gosh, I'm 70. How much? Pete used to say, Bella, I just don't know how many more times I'm going to wake up and it's going to be morning.
Oh, you know? Yeah. And that's the realization. And, you know, you do face death. You face it. What does it say? Hot flash as a term is lame. Thank you for power flash or power surge.
Power surge. Yeah. Power surge.
Yeah.
You're welcome. That's fun.
I have a note here and I want to read it. It says pride with humility. I really like that. Pride with humility is very crony, I think. You're humble.
Yeah, there's got to be something said for the fact that you really don't have anything to prove anymore.
Yes, yeah. Like Queen is kind of bragging, but it's like a humble brag. You know, Queen is like shiny, like has the crown, is like, I fucking own it. Excuse my language. I freaking own this land. I own it, right? So
like if I was in prison, you would all be my bitches.
You're so funny. Oh my God.
But that's the kind of energy, right? Like you're the matron of your family. You're the manager at work. You're the person that's in charge of the peer group.
But Crone is like, I don't need to brag. I don't need to be shiny. I don't need to show off. I don't
you
need.
guys do all the work. You
Yeah.
guys do all the work. You
Yep.
guys do all the work. I'm gonna sit here with the kids. I'll go. I got an idea. I go watch the kids. Y'all go make the dinner.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
And sit there and knit and just tell stories to the kids and be as happy as the day is long. And so is everybody else because you're watching the kids.
And there's another good note: knowing enough to be authentic, but being wise enough to view situations from other perspectives.
That's the trick right there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's impressive when you meet crones that are able to like look at it from a different angle. That's just what we're all trying to teach ourselves is let's look at it from a different perspective. If you got this card, Bella, what do you think it would mean for you?
That I needed to take more time to sit and think and appreciate and slow down and enjoy. Slow down and enjoy. Yeah. Really take the time to appreciate what I have gleaned.
I think definitely the same thing when I look at this card, and I love it. It's so grandma. I mean, the cat at her feet and the snow falling outside. I mean, that just looks like heaven to me. Just sitting in that rocking chair with the books. I could read whatever book I want. The candles lit. I mean, the
thing that I've noticed about it that I really personally appreciate is the fact that the floor is purple, and then there's the turquoise and gold, and there's the time thing, and then all of the books in the back are variations of purple and gold and turquoise, right? Yeah. And it's just really encapsulates the maturity, right? Yeah. And also like the Red Hat Society, those women, right? Like you got nothing else to prove. You gotta do whatever you want to. You gotta say what you want to people. Here, put these sunflowers in your pocket so that when you die, at least something good come out of you. That's what my mom
was part of the Red Hat ladies. And they wore the red hats with the purple flowers, and they all went out dressed like that, and their purple scarves and their red jackets, and they didn't care. They were like,
like, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing today.
And for me, I get the same vibe from this card. If I got this card today, I get the same thing. My corgi is going crazy. Time is almost up, so we're good. But yeah, I would say slow down. Just slow down and enjoy. Be in the moment, because we don't know how many moments we have left.
Appreciate. Yeah, really, like that's one of the things that I really get from Crone is that stop and appreciate. See all of the things that you've done.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I have enjoyed it today. You guys register for Hecate Sickle Festival. The deadline for this early tickets is September 15th. You got 2 more weeks.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Everyone, you need to register. And also, we talked about the school. Remember the Wiccan Seminary? Oh my goodness, my dog.
Wiccan Seminary, the new semester starts in October. So if you start now, you can get through orientation by the time the new semester starts. Quarter. That's what it is.
That's the word. Yeah. And then our vocal corgi here just has so much to say. And also you can reach me at lolastardust@wiccanseminary.edu if you're interested in my students or what I do or how I tame my dog. And who's not helping because he's playing video games right now.
Oh my. And you can get in touch with me through Facebook, Belladonna LaVeau, or belladonnalaveau at Gmail, belladonnalaveau@gmail.com, or bella@atcwicca.org is an easier one, less letters to deal with. And wiccanseminary.edu is where we do formal training. This is our Seekers class for the ATC, and Lola, it is always a joyous occasion.
I miss you so much. I'm glad we're back, and we'll see you all next week.
Hit that smash and like and give us some love. Show us some love. Subscribe. We'll see you next week. Same witch time, same witch channel.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.